School System work session of March 9th. We're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Ms. Sharp is going to introduce our guest.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight, our pledge will be led by Miss Chloe Scott of Siegel High School. She's in the aviation program at Siegel. And just a little bit later, we're going to hear some more information from she and her fellow teammates.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we go into our moment of silence, we need to remember the family of Clay Morgan, an Oakland Middle School 8th grade English teacher that passed away. Thank you. I refer the board to number 4, approval of the agenda. I'll give you a moment to go through it. Then any comments or questions? Do I have any comments or questions? All right. Let's take a look at number 5, approval of the consent agenda. I'll give you a moment to glance through. Do you have any questions or comments on the consent agenda? If not, we will move to number 7. Guest speakers. And again, Ms. Sharp, would you like to introduce your guest?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight we have, we welcome Principal Mr. Larry Creasy and the teacher of the aviation program, Mr. Scott Myers. We also have with them Chloe Scott, Ian Bush, Dalton Lawwell, Cody Raymond, Josiah Tooley, and Connor Wetzel. These students are going to come up and give us a little bit of a demonstration. Thank you guys for coming out tonight.
First of all, thank you all for the invite to come down here and speak with you all this evening about our program. My name is Scott Myers, and I teach the drone and aviation flight program at Siegel. And as you can see from our hardware on the table, we're gaining momentum, if you will. But first of all, before we talk about drones, I'm going to introduce Ms. Scott. Let her come up here and talk to you about our aviation program and as a young lady being in that program and what that looks like.
Hi, I'm Chloe Scott. I'm a junior in the aviation pathway at Siegel High School. When I first got to Siegel, I was not really interested in the aviation pathway. My dad had tried to get me to go that route, but I was like, that's a boy thing. It's not really what I want. I tried 2 other different pathways at Siegel High School, and as exceptional as they were, they just weren't the right fit for me. I applied for the aviation program in my schedule for junior year, and it has been really, really good. It's a hands-on experience. We use flight simulators, and with Mr. Myers Connections, we bring helicopters to the school, which give even students outside of the aviation pathway a chance to get to experience things and ask questions about careers in aviation. There's endless possibilities, and my dream, my goal, is to be a commercial pilot. So Mr. Myers has helped me obtain my first-class medical certificate already, and I plan to apply to get my private pilot's license and start training for that next spring. The aviation program truly is really exceptional here at Siegel, and it's taught me a lot of things that honestly I never would have learned outside of it.
Well, as you can see, she's pretty excited about being a part of this program, and she's doing a great job for us. We have one of our goals in the program is to get more young ladies, and the more success that we have with what they're doing, then we have a chance to then recruit better. And so we're looking forward to that. But she's pretty excited about what's next for her. We're trying to find some avenues to make that happen as quick as possible. The next thing we want to show you for just a few minutes, and we'll not take up much of your time, we have a small video that we'd like to go ahead and show you about some of our, what we're doing with our drone and kind of how we get a chance to use that at Siegel High School and other places. Next, I'd like to introduce one of our seniors. The drone program is kind of a senior year project that these young people get to engage in, and we have 17 young people in that program this year. Two of the young men that are with us tonight, Ian and Dalton, have already passed the FAA Part 107 commercial drone pilots test, so they are legally card-carrying members of the FAA, and they can exercise their rights now to be compensated for flying their drone if they find someone that might want to hire them. And Cody is on that path as well. He's going to be looking to do that here pretty soon. I'm going to let Ian speak to you for a few minutes. While we're doing that, we'll bring the drones by, and you can look at them, kind of feel the weight of them if you want to. Miss Tyra funds this program very well, and you'll get to see that.
So, hi, my name's Ian Bush, and like Mr. Myers said, me and Dalton are already Part 107 rated. I actually have already experienced that. I was invited by our track coach to last Saturday to film just part of some of the races, like the 3,200 meter dash, the hurdle dash. I forget what that's called. I apologize. But I took my own drone that I inherited from my grandfather. He had a Mavic 2, similar to that drone that they're passing around. It's the one I had was like I guess you could say the iPhone 10, and that one's the iPhone 12 or 14, the newest one, essentially. But yeah, so it's a great way to get, I guess, money while you're still in school. I have about 3 opportunities lined up to where I can work for people, and if you guys know anyone, please let me know. Money's nice. But yeah, and similar to Chloe, I have only been in the program 2 years. I was in the engineering pathway because throughout college I wanted to do aerospace engineering. That's what I've sort of applied to do, set myself up for. And I'm a part of a robotics program, Tennessee Robotics Center, they participate first. So I kind of got that engineering side of things from the robotics program and not from the engineering program. And there were also other things that I won't get into. But so starting junior year, like Chloe, I switched to aviation. And the most important thing that I feel like aviation has taught me so far is latitude and longitude. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually that no matter how late and something is, if you want to do something, you have control to take over and start on that path. And that's what I feel like I've done. Starting spring break, for example, I'll start a discovery flight, which is, I guess, the entranceway into getting your private pilot's license, flying recreationally for yourself. I've already mentioned I've got my Part 107 license. Yeah, that's about it for me. As for the program itself, we're equipped with, I believe, 8 simulators now they're known as Gleim simulators. They have 3 monitors set up, yoke, throttles, all that sort of things. We have Cessna 172s on those, Beechcraft Barons, which are dual-engine pistons. We have F-4 fighters on them, which a lot of younger students like to dogfight. Older students, they'll really tune themselves in and get familiar with the cockpits. For example, I've never been in a real airplane, or I've been on the airliners before, like going on vacations and stuff, but I've never been in like a small airplane like at our local airport at Murfreesboro. But I feel like whenever I start out, actually, I'll be able to just know my way around the plane because of those simulators. We also have a full motion simulator known as the Redbird. And on that, the FAA actually approves you to get hours on that. So whenever I actually legitimately start, I could build hours on our simulator at school for entirely free, instead of paying roughly the $200 an hour for actual flight training. And so as you guys have probably seen, these are our drones right here. This is our Inspire 2. It was manufactured solely for cinematography. So we've used that really well. What you saw was just a glimpse of what we've actually captured and can possibly capture. As you saw, no, that wasn't in the video. But we've been to the TSSAA cross-country tournament. We were paid for that under Mr. Myers' Part 107 license because we didn't have them at the time. So we use this drone solely because it's just a great, reliable platform. We have 2 controllers here for it because it can, 2 people can operate at one time. One person, such as myself, could fly the drone around, kind of be the driver per se, and then someone like Dalton here, who actually knows a lot about operating a camera, he would like just move the camera around, like adjust the roll, the pitch, the yaw of it, and just get those shots that I wouldn't be able to see or do by myself. 2 of our newer drones under here, which you guys might not be able to see by the TV, but 2 of our newer drones, we have the Mini 4 Pro, the little white one. It's got sensors all over it, which allows for obstacle avoidance. So that way we can use it inside of pep rallies, which has been really cool. Students have loved it. We've been able to project to screens, and like the screens inside of our gym, so that way we have essentially, I guess like a football-like atmosphere, like kind of like a jumbotron, like in a hockey stadium or football stadium, that sort of thing. And our Mavic 3 is probably the best cinematography drone to date. It's newer than the Inspire for sure, but it has 3 different cameras on it, which allow it to go up to say on your phone, you can go up to like, say 15 times zoom. That thing can go up to 28, which is pretty cool. It's got the quality on it, it's great, 4K quality. We haven't used it probably to its full potential yet, I don't think, but there's a lot we can do with it. Let's see, what else? We were going to demonstrate the Mini 4 Pro in here actually, but we didn't quite realize that the space was as small as it is. So if you guys want to, we totally can, but be ready to get your paperweights ready. So yeah, would you guys want to see a demonstration?
Love it. Yes. I mean, I will.
Can you fly it a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Oh, hold
All right,
on.
well, Mr. Myers is first.
Everything in here is new.
Well, we appreciate
Letting
you.
you know.
We appreciate you signing the waiver when you came in,
Yeah.
so we can go from there. We're a little close. One of the
Yeah, everything, most everything in here is new. Ian?
I thought about vetoing this, and Mr. Creasy's not telling me yes or no, so I guess we're going to go ahead and do this. So I think we'll be
You could do a
okay.
little bit.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, that y'all
Now,
know.
this is all these drones have sensors on them, so we're going to be good here,
It'll be fine.
Was the drone you're going to fly bought with federal funds?
sir.
Is the one you bought with federal funds the one?
Yep. Yeah, with
You
federal
fly it.
funds.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, go ahead.
And what we can do with this as well, Mr. Creasy lets us fly this for the pep rallies. We're just kind of learning about that indoors, but we can connect this to an HDMI screen, like directly to a screen, so you can see what the drones see. So our students, when they're just now kind of figuring out what we're doing, but they love seeing themselves on the screens, So this gives us a chance to do that as well. Yeah. These are very stable.
Sometimes it lags. All right, and then, so when you pull the sticks down and out to take off, that starts the rotors.
So it's running now. If you can't hear that, it's running now. I think some of you got to feel the weight.
And then off we go.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Now it's very stable. I don't have my hands on the controller right now at all, and it's staying perfectly still. And then the sensor's like I'm talking about, so I could go right here, and it'll just float on up.
Oh, wow.
And it'll detect the ceiling as well. So like I'm going full up, trying to go all the way up as fast as I can, which could be upwards of 10 miles an hour, but it's slowing down and eventually it'll stop. And it goes. So I'm going as you see, full up, and it won't go up. I can go forward. And it's going to try to dodge it. That's what it has, that's bypass, where it'll definitely in front of it, like say, a hole or something like that. It knows how to go around it too. So that's what it looks like. What is the average flight time? Average flight time, so the batteries in there right now, they kind of, I guess you could say, range over time, they go down there. So, since we use class, right now it's at 59% battery, and it has about 8% stuff. So,
We usually, with these drones in the pep rally, we'll get 28 to 35 minutes of flight time. Not so much with the big one. This one tends to eat up a lot of, and you felt the weight of it. It's pretty heavy. And we're just learning about this next one. And just to kind of follow up on that, Ms. Tyra funds our program very well. Mr. Creasy allows us this platform to be able to learn. And that's what this experience about it in high school is to learn something and then transfer that to
look at it.
to what's next, to post-secondary. And this is, you can see these young people are ready to go with, they can speak aviation. That's what I talk about. We have to learn how to speak aviation, but they can talk about this stuff at length, and they do a very good job.
Look at that.
And we'll send you this footage back so you can see what that looks like.
Oh, thank you.
Any questions for us?
I want to know, we know what Miss Chloe wants to do. I want to know what Ian's, what's your eventual career path?
You're going to a college in Florida, aren't you?
go ahead and land this real quick, sorry. It's not wanting to go forward. Obstacle avoidance is too good. There we go.
Aren't you going to a college in Florida? Are you going to a college in Florida?
That is the dream, but
I thought we talked about that when we visited. Yes.
yeah, that is the dream, but money is a problem. So the secondary very good school that I would like to go to is UAH to major in aerospace engineering, and the end goal of that is to either graduate and then pursue a master's degree, which would be in engineering physics or just an aerospace again. But the end goal career-wise is I'd like to, I guess, help out, per se, in space exploration, be that of manned type. That's been my passion for about 8th grade now. So just from movies, books, things like that, just, I guess just, what's the word? Advancements we've made, like that you see on the news, like on the ISS, from the telescopes, things like that. Like that's why the Artemis mission, it's really cool because we're going back to the moon, you know. Yeah, that's my end goal. Yeah, Embry would be a great school for that because Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, that's the full name, in Daytona Beach. It would be a great school for that because they, in their aerospace program, they differentiate between aeronautics and astronautics. So astronautics would be kind of what, like my end game, like, you know, I guess rocket surgery. But aeronautics would be more of, I guess, this type of work, like with airplanes, drones, that sort of thing. Things with propellers in the atmosphere. Astronautics outside the atmosphere. But with aviation, though, my, I guess, view has kind of changed a little bit in that I have now a really good, I guess you could say, backup career as being a pilot. So, like I said earlier, I'll be pursuing my private license soon, and throughout college I could advance that, maybe get an IFR rating, a multi-engine rating, things like that, or, and that way, say, aerospace turns out not to be what I want to do. In that case, I have a really good backup plan that I can get paid to stare out a window.
Dalton, what do you want to do?
So after getting the commercial Part 107 license, I've been looking into a lot of more of the drone side of it, more towards like surveying, stuff like that around the city. Also as a backup plan, I'd planned on before going to TCAT and getting automotive maintenance and getting all those certifications, just kind of have as like a backup plan, more or less like a main path, and kind of have drones as something else to work with also. And paint and body was another one. That's also another thing to, I think, is growing more with all the car advancements and everything like that. Yeah, I think that's it.
Sounds great. What are you planning on doing?
I mostly plan on doing a lot of diesel mechanics. And Myers had actually introduced me to the maintenance world and how interesting it is with aviation maintenance. And I, for a very long time, wanted to do that. And then recently got a job where I could actually get hands-on with diesel maintenance. And that's what I've had a passion for a while. But aviation has been something I've always loved and I've always wanted to do. And my plan is to work as a diesel mechanic for 20 years or so, and then become an aviation mechanic part-time.
Isn't there a diesel college in Nashville? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought there was.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I wish you fellas and Chloe would have some kind of ambition in life. We got to work with lighting a fire under you. Anyone else have a question?
I do, Madam Chair.
Yes.
How many hours did you have to get certified in your flying?
You don't necessarily need any, I guess, legitimate like flying training per se. It's all we took was a knowledge test.
Okay.
So we have to know roughly like what airspace we can fly in, how high we can fly, what types of weather we can fly in, things like that.
What we're responsible for, what we can do essentially as flying drones, because it's not as difficult as you think. I know that sounds like words are not with you today. That sounds like, I guess, kind of arrogant, but it really isn't that hard. Like as you guys just saw, I can take my hand off like the controls and just float there just seamlessly. So it's not that difficult per se.
We appreciate your time this evening. I know there's more that you all need to discuss. Just in wrapping up, we put our young people on a program, and they have to learn to fly inside in a drone that's a lot more difficult to control. So once they master that, then we move on to these more advanced drones. I'm going to say conservatively, most students that at his level have probably 20 hours of flight time, 25 hours of flight time.
That's at $200 an hour that you're saving.
Well, that's in the manned aircraft, but in drone aircraft, that's the time that we're logging in drones. It wouldn't be that much, but once again, if you had to buy one of these yourself, I mean, in 2018, this was a $6,000 drone.
Wow.
So to replace that now, it's about $19,000.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this is an Inspire 2. You can't get these anymore. The Inspire 3 is about $19,000. So if you want to invest that yourself, you can then make that back in earning a living with it as well. We're fortunate enough that we get the chance to train with this, and then in turn, one of the things that we do at Siegel is initially we were videotaping all of our fire drills, where we got some places that we need to look at, that we need to maybe put students in a different place and things like that. So we try to use this for safety. And what do we do next? The next step for us is to buy drones that you can fly with first-person viewers. Wow. If there's an event at the school that we need to send a drone into, we want to be trained so we can go into that event without really risking any life. So someone knocks down a $1,000 drone, but at least we know what's going on in there. So that's the next thing is continue to expand what we're doing to make our students and our faculty safe, and not just at Siegel, but from a county perspective. What does that look like? That's down the road. How does that work for us, and what can we do next to make these work for us so that we're safer and feel good about using them? And then, as you can see, we're very well equipped personnel-wise for these young people to step in and be able to do this with. They learn very quickly. You can see that they learn very quickly, and it's just about getting experience and learning the shots. That was some editing that we did that you saw a little while ago. We obviously see where we need to make some changes in that as well, but we're learning, and that's what this experience about is at high school, is to learn at this level and then equip them to move out of this area and be successful at whatever's next.
Thank you. We so appreciate you coming. And Ms. Sharp, thank you for asking
Yes.
them when we were there.
Thank you for
We
the
did
invite.
get to tour this facility, and it was just amazing. We were so impressed.
Thank you,
We
ma'am.
really, really appreciate you all coming. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Get everything? You can pull it. Careful, careful.
We're just going to pull everything.
No.
Thank you again.
Or on second thought. Go for it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have a great day tomorrow. I'm going to assume Rutherford Proud
Yes, that's
will
Thursday.
be on Thursday.
And we did this last year. This is Wednesday, tomorrow.
I mean, I keep forgetting. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
this is-
Wednesday.
We did
tomorrow
this,
night.
we did this last year as well. This is just this year's version, so the board really enjoyed it last year.
Okay. All right. Number 9, instruction.
So the first one is really just FYI, if Roy Waldron gets the grant that they apply for, then it'll come back for the board to accept them, but we're trying to streamline some of our grant procedures. So the first one's just FYI, Roy Waldron's applying for a $10,000 grant with TVA School Uplift Program for 24-25 school year. So.
You? Any questions? Number 2.
So this is PBL training for our CTE teachers. CTE is requesting to spend a portion of the Innovative Schools Model Grant Project or grant funds on project-based learning training through PBL Works. PBL Works is an organization that provides gold standard PBL training to districts across the country. 70 middle school and high school teachers will receive 4 days of intensive training. At the conclusion, they'll have a complete PBL unit to implement in the fall semester. In addition to the training, teachers will have access to a total of 40 hours of one-on-one consultation, and administrators will have access to 2 hours of training to help them support teachers implementing PBL in their classrooms. This training will support innovative schools model initiatives as well as initiatives within our industry partners and Rutherford Works.
Are there any questions or comments? Number 10, Human Resources.
This is Advantage XPO Renewal Agreement. Rutherford County Schools currently contracts with Advantage XPO for substitute teacher services. Advantage XPO will maintain their current contract, and the bill rate will increase by 30 cents per substitute daily obtained. This increase is due to an increase in Tennessee background checks and an increase in the Smart Find software profile rates for the 24-25 school year.
Yes, ma'am.
We're with questions. Are we doing better with the fingerprinting and everything? We haven't had any issues. We don't know of any issues.
Yes, when the state, although the state picked the same organization for fingerprinting, they got a lot of their kinks straightened out last March. I think it was kind of get it straightened out or we're going to look elsewhere. So they are still with the same company, and they have opened up more places to be able to do fingerprinting, and they're able to actually staff them now instead of shutting down for the whole day, because our fingerprints are scheduled every 10 minutes, so basically you're losing, 6 an hour if they decide just to close the place down and put signs on the doors, which is what they were doing in the past. So we haven't had that problem.
Thank you. That's a great idea.
That's good.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes.
can I ask, what is our current rate that we're paying right now? Because I know we changed it a couple of times.
If they're non-certified, it's 100 for this end of the county, and then it's 105 for the north end. And then if they're certified, it's 120 for this end of the county, and for the north end, it's 125. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Ms. Bratton?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Anthony, are we using 2 different companies still, or did we rolled everything up
We're
into?
back to one, and we've seen a 36% increase since we went back to one.
Oh, well, great.
We had our state HR meeting about 2 weeks ago, and I believe it was Knox County. It said that the last 3 years they've been running at a 60% fill rate, which everybody oohed and awed and thought was high. And on an average day, we run 70, 74, 75, which is exceptional. And so, of course, that costs a little bit more, but we're willing to do that to get the rooms filled. So we have a lot of subs that are coming on board and signing up daily. And partnering with MTSU, we had recommended with them, if the students are not working every day, or if they finish out in May, for them to become part of our substitute pool. And so they've been going with us to the recruitment fairs.
Oh,
Does when we hire someone on boarding, do we have it where they will start out with this amount, and then 15 days later, I think they can get a higher increase? So the city does that. The city does it where, and I forget exactly how, but you start out with $90, I think. Don't quote me on the prices. I'm just hypothetical. You start with a price, and then so many days later, you get an additional $5 as I guess it's an incentive to see how committed you are. So I'm just wondering if we're doing something similar so that we can keep the retention.
Yes, Advantage does do that, and also they do monthly drawings, and then they also offer different benefits that they can have. So it's an opportunity for someone, if they wanted to work every day, that they could receive benefits.
Okay, great. And then the other thing that the city does, is that on the hard to fill days, hard days to fill, like Fridays and Mondays, they give an extra $10 on top of it for any sub that works. So do we do that as well?
Yes, we do that additionally, and then we work with our professional development departments to make sure that we're offering our PDs, if possible, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, knowing that Fridays and Mondays are harder days to staff.
Okay, great. Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else?
I think we're at $15 extra on Mondays and Fridays. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
These at 10, we're at 15. Mondays and Fridays. If they go to 15, we're probably going to go to 15.25, but that's fine. The other part is we will all just, where we struggle with days is Monday and Friday like everywhere else, but where we're unique compared to the city is that we, of course, have career and technical education, and so we have a lot of CTE programs who travel, And when they travel for competitions at a school, you may lose 2 to 4 to, if they have 3 competitions, 6 teachers, which makes your sub rate look really rough on a Friday, but that's just when the competitions are.
Yeah.
So I don't know a way to avoid that.
Well, we get well, Claire and I, we get the emails from the city when they're having those type of days when a lot of teachers are going to be absent because of something that everybody's going to. And I believe last year, during the Christmas season, there is a typical Christmas village sale.
Yes.
And there was a mass exodus of teachers that went to it, so we were getting the email.
Better known as the day the teachers don't come.
Yeah.
It's the
Leave
biggest.
second week in November. We always
Yes.
prep Advantage for that so they can do some options that they have for additional staffing and money. So they put out some money for that additionally to be able to fill that day.
I'm ashamed to say that it's been that way for many years.
For many years.
Many years for Christmas Village, hadn't it, Andrea?
Wow.
Ms. Sharp?
Thank you. Dr. Sullivan, can you, either tonight or Thursday night, I'm not sure where we are with the substitutes, but I've had several contact me and ask about the security training.
Can do that. I can do it right now.
Okay.
The main portion we are doing, so we cannot require them to do the defend training because it's going to be during the summer. But it is June, Dr. Martin, is it June 6th? I have no idea how I remembered that. So June 6th is when we're training our central office, and we're going to invite the substitutes. Won't be paid, but they're available to be able to be trained with defend. And then we have our entire training that we are doing through PlayPosit that all of them will have within the next 60 days.
That's wonderful, thank you.
I told them, I said, I promise you, Ms. Rosales has been working on things at the state level to try to get them paid and get them trained and everything. And I said, you're just not hearing about it because it's not in the local news here. But I did tell them, I said, we'll just have to have a follow-up meeting later.
Dr. Martin, did you need to say something?
I was just going to expand a little bit on that PlayPosit. So it would be similar to a PowerPoint type of format, but it's self-guided, and along the way the program pauses. They have to answer questions to move on, and then at the end it gives them a certificate. So we'll be able to see their answers to the questions and then also have a certificate that shows that they've completed that program.
I like that. Thank you.
Kind of like bloodborne pathogen kind of training.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody gets to do every year as long as they live. Okay. Anyone else? Legal.
All right, legal, tab 4. So these, number 1, charges against a tenured teacher for suspension greater than 3 days. So this is all required in Tennessee Code annotated for a tenured teacher. Charges have been brought against Emily Romine, a tenured teacher, seeking suspension of 15 days. Under state law, these charges must be first brought before the board. The board's duty when charges are brought against a tenured teacher is to determine if the charges are proven to be true, is the alleged conduct of such a nature as to warrant suspension greater than 3 days. If the board determines the charges, if proven true, do warrant suspension greater than 3 days, the teacher will be given notice of the determination and rights under state law to a hearing before an impartial hearing officer. After the determination by the hearing officer, either side dissatisfied with the hearing officer's ruling may appeal the decision to the Board of Education. You have 2 options for you tomorrow. A, move to find that the charges, if proven true, would warrant suspension greater than 3 days, and then my recommendation was 15 days. Or you could motion to find the charges do not warrant suspension greater than 3 days, and then the teacher would have a 3-day suspension, because that's what the director of schools can do without going before the board for approval for tenured teachers.
Questions? County transfer.
Wait, Ms. Bratton, sorry. Dr. Sullivan, you said that we can look at a video footage.
Yes, you can get with Miss.
Ms. Monica,
Yeah.
can we see that after the meeting? Yeah, tonight. Okay, great, thank you, sorry.
At a county transfer student.
So this is out of county transfer student 1. We only have 1, but the board's been requested to admit a transfer student from another school system under discipline. Student was expelled for assault of a student. According to policy 6.318, the board may deny admissions of any student except those in state custody when a student transfers from another school system while under suspension or expulsion. My recommendation is to deny admission.
Have any questions, please direct those to Monica. And the second one?
Second one, out of county transfer student 2. So the board's been requested to admit a transfer student from another school system under discipline. The student was expelled for 1 year for possession of 5 boxes of vapes. According to policy 6.318, the board may deny admissions of any student except those in state custody when a student transfers from another school system while under suspension or expulsion. And Director of Schools recommendations to deny as well.
Again, if you have any questions, please direct those to Ms. Ridley. Number 12, engineering and construction.
First, Oakland Middle School request. Principal Brad Decker is requested to purchase an 8 by 16 storage building to be utilized by the respective soccer teams. The cost for the building is $6,300. The funding will be from the school's soccer field account. The funds are currently available. Engineering and Construction has reviewed the request and recommends approval.
Questions? Comments? Number 2,
Walter Hill Elementary request. Principal Laura Heath is requested to construct an outdoor classroom amphitheater to provide a space for learning and connection geared towards STEAM. This project is in conjunction with the Katie Woody Foundation and Republic Services. The anticipated cost is $150,000 and is being completely covered by donations and grants. The project design is by Klein Sweeney and Associates, and they're the architects who designed the Public Safety Center building that is being built adjacent to the school. The structure is being constructed by American Constructors, also associated with the Public Safety Center. Engineering and Construction has reviewed the request and recommends approval. It is at no cost to the board.
questions?
This is similar
Yes, ma'am.
to, I'm sorry, thank you, Madam Chair. This is similar to what we have at Smyrna.
Elementary School.
Yep.
Yep. A little bit different design, right, Trey? Yep.
The one at Smyrna Elementary is more of an outdoor amphitheater. This is more of a covered pavilion, classroom type setting.
Anyone else? Number 13, insurance. Nothing, okay. Number 14, financial report.
Financial report, a couple quick things. At our board retreat on Thursday and Friday, we discussed the 2.5% cost of living adjustment. So that is our teachers and staff are used to hearing it called a raise. That it goes in line with what the governor and previous governors for decades have said teachers will get this percentage raise. We were calling it a cost of living adjustment, so that'll be 2.5% is what we're initially proposing. I've asked Brian to work on the classified and certified salary list so that we can hopefully approve those salary indexes and list for April 4th so that we can build the budget to approve by April 18th to meet all of our deadlines. So that's what we're looking at. The other nice news, I guess, although I don't want to spend it yet, is that we got a fast growth update from TDOE today. It's an additional $750,000. We talked about this at the retreat at previous board meetings as well. That money can continue to fluctuate throughout the school year, so I don't want to spend it or budget it until the end of the year until I know that it's actually here. It started out at $4.8 million, then it was $7.8 million, and today it's 8.5 something. And I have no idea other than we continue to grow. So I don't think that's a shock to anyone. So that was.
When does that money come?
It comes in 4 different installments.
Okay.
But they also at the end of the year can take it back if you stop.
Good.
And so
Okay.
we don't like to budget it if they go away.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
All right, director's update.
Just a couple quick things. So during policy meeting last night, I made a comment that said we had a situation last board meeting about making a motion during general discussion. You absolutely can do that, so I apologize, Ms. Sharp. I told you individually, so I apologize for making that comment. You absolutely can.
We owed you that.
I did. That's public. I owed you an apology for it. So I know you didn't care, but it's the right thing to do.
No worries.
So the other thing, the state report card comes out on March 26th. So that is next Tuesday. The state report card will be released. It's last year's assessment being released in March. And so that kind of is what it is to that point. And then all of you should have a copy. The hand-delivered SRO curriculum was hand-delivered to me today. I was in a meeting and they would not leave until I walked out there. And they kind of had Dawn scared. We didn't know what was going on. 2 officers saying we are not leaving until we hand-deliver it. So
That was special delivery.
it was hand-delivered, yes.
Good.
And so everyone has a copy of that.
Okay.
I think that's all I have.
Ms. Rosales, I assume you're going to report out tomorrow?
Yes, I've got lots
you.
of updates.
Thank you. That will be great. General discussion. Is there anyone who has any general discussion besides me?
Yes.
Is that a yes or a
Yes.
finger wiggle?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. We are still looking for donations for Jazz Fest. We have a little bit different this year. We're going to have jazz at night for Friday night, so it's going to be a 2-day event. And we're still trying to keep this free to the community, and this is an all-volunteer staff. We've got some donations, but we need some more because we need to cover the AV and probably some security, a few things. And Ms. Maxwell is on the board, I don't know, 5 or 6 times with donations. So the rest of us we've got to catch up. But if anybody's out there, we would love to have some donations. And you can do that at www.borojazzfest.com. Everything is out there.
Can individuals, could we give a little
Absolutely,
donation?
yes. There's a QR code on that page that you can
I
donate.
didn't know if that had to be all industry or how we were doing.
There is no
Yeah.
donation too small or too
That's
large.
right.
Oh,
That's right.
okay.
And
Thank goodness, honey, bring 10 up here. Give it.
And we've started on getting a foundation together, but the foundation costs about $800 for the filing fee.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we would rather the donations now go to, I know, it's crazy, the donations to go to Jazz Fest now, and then we'll get some money, and then we'll do that, because it's easier for us to get money from other foundations across the United States if we have a nonprofit. Now, we're going through Carpe Artista now, that's a nonprofit. They're registered, and we could take donations from them, but if that goes to their money pile for us, then they don't get any, because it's the same name. So they would consider it double dipping or something like that. So that's why we absolutely need another foundation. And if somebody's out there, like they did in Laverne, and wants to donate the money to file for the foundation, let us know.
Foundation is a lot of work. I've looked into it at one time, and I went, oh my goodness, I had no idea it was so involved. And it costs what for the?
$800.
$800. It's a lot of money.
It is.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to bring up something. I received a few emails, and there's some things that are being said on social media that are very inaccurate, and I just wanted to clarify some things. So there was a law, House Bill number 448. It's also the Senate companion bill is number 551. Those co-sponsors of this was Davis, Fritz, Sapicki, Hardaway, Lynn, Slater. And the senators for this bill, the co-sponsors were Lowe and Jackson. This was passed as a Republican majority bill. Under this act in Tennessee Annotated Code, it talks about what is perceived and acceptable for public comments. Under Section 1A, it says a governing body shall, for each public meeting, reserve a period for public comment to provide the public with the opportunity to comment on matters that are germane to the items on the agenda for the meeting. And then on sections B and C and D, it does talk about the allotted time to give different people, that is consistent across the board, and that notice has to be given for whenever there's going to be items that are to be voted. And then it just talks about and explains more what is a governing body. Under this TCA code, the governing body includes the Board of Education, and this was adopted April 5th, 2023, and it was signed by a Republican governor, Bill Lee. So there is misinformation that we are restricting and constraining parents' rights, that we are limiting First Amendment rights, that we're taking away First rights, that this is a leftist agenda. So I'm clarifying to read the code of what this falls under. And what was done is to operate under the law and what is required for us to do. This is nothing different than what is being doing in the Murfreesboro City schools and what the councilman meetings in the Murfreesboro. Any resident can come and speak. No one is being stopped from speaking at all. If there are issues or complaints, they can come to one of us, one of the school board members. Any school board member can bring anything, any agenda item to the agenda, and we can create any policy. It's in with our restriction and our guidance. So all that to say, if this is a leftist agenda, then we will need to go back to the leftist Republicans, who are the majority, are conservative Republicans, and get our lawmakers to change that. And I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to make a statement, please. We have an extremely successful district. We all know that. Our current director has changed the course of RCS in morale, culture, and student outcomes. He is nationally certified and the only one in Tennessee, and is only interested in an extension of his current contract. TCA 49-2-203 states no school board shall extend the contract of a director without giving notice of the intent to do so at least 15 calendar days prior to voting on this. This negotiated contract will be voted on April the 4th, and hereby I have stated the intention publicly. This will be attached to the notes for agenda next Friday. Anyone else?
Move to adjourn.
Thank you. Thank you. Adjourned.